jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show.
Join us as we cover many an insane movie and numerous cult TV phenomenons. Are you ready to get jacked up? Are you with us? Then listen on.
Listener discretion is advised. It's a jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show.
And welcome to the show. Another all-star guest panel. We got Nathalie Galde. How are you?
Hi, doing good. How are you?
And I'm never better. We got Max Wood from Galaxy of Film.
What's going on, man? How you been?
Climbing.
I feel
Ricocheting.
you.
And
I
Good
feel
Beer, Bad Movie Nights, Pete Quint.
Hey, how is everyone today?
I think we're
Getting
hunting
through it.
monsters.
Right.
It's good to meet you all. This is cool. I'm real excited to be here.
Me
Let's
too.
get it on.
Yes. The
Yeah,
number one,
man.
the number one Trimmers fan is on our show. So
Ooh.
out of all subjects that we could agree on, we're just like, let's just talk about Jim Henson and his Muppet cast.
Can't go wrong, man. It's Jim Henson, baby.
Can't go wrong. Isn't it wild how not only how this has spawned, like any famous cartoon, just multiple generations, but it's just second nature. I can't think of any time where anyone isn't referencing these characters in some capacity. It's just like
Probably
infectious.
true.
If there's a character at work someone who whose name is Ernie, it's not going to take long before someone does a Bert impression like, "Hey, Bert."
Yeah, exactly.
Bet he never heard that joke before.
You're right. Everyone knows
That's
it's
a hard life.
frog, yeah. Anyone who pretty much is in the world of puppetry has actually taken probably a Jim Henson class, just because they really did kind of change the industry and what people knew about making, all this, vaudeville kind of stuff become part of the film and theater community.
Yeah, didn't you just have a guest on that she part of the Mystery Science Theater crew?
Yes, she was the light. Yeah, I interviewed the new host.
Yeah, that was a great show, man. That was really cool.
She really was, and it was just so gracious of her to do that, because I didn't see anyone else even bringing it up. It seemed like everyone else was just wanting to talk about reviewing the seasons and everything. I'm like, let's talk about the new people, since when else are you going to be able to talk to them? It's just
Right.
conventions. You want to talk other puppets. It seems like just about anyone who's been involved with, Jabba the Hutt or Yoda puppetry or Gremlins type stuff, they definitely have been trained by, some
The
Jim Henson
Henson
crew.
folk, yeah.
Brian Henson, obviously.
Aren't the Star Wars puppets from Henson?
Jim Henson
listed?
creation.
He basically
Yeah.
he just lended Frank Oz to them, do the puppetry and the voice.
Yeah.
Kind of unofficially, or I guess you could say unofficial cousins.
I found out that the Muppets were on the first season of SNL, and
Really? That's
yeah,
interesting.
they had a whole monsters segment on SNL.
Sweet.
Wow.
It didn't last very long.
Oh, sadly. It's probably actually funny.
It was funny to me, but probably not for the right reasons. It definitely, I don't know if it was funny back then, in the 70s, but it
What you
didn't
had,
land.
people had too much to drink. But yeah, it is interesting how, like you say, it's an interesting predicament of how they had to kind of test the waters.
Yeah.
And sometimes
It's very early Jim Henson. It's like it's around the same time that he was developing Muppets and Sesame Street, I think.
Okay.
And just so unheard of what he used to make it happen by doing the whole, well, I don't want to be associated with just a kid's show or just an adult themed puppet show. So I'm going to, downplay my huge role in this. ABC wants to syndicate it, but doesn't want to actually be the one to air it. So I'll sell it to the British TV channels, and they'll eventually end up on the same network anyway. So I'll get exposure. So it's just wild how you don't know who some of the fools are in charge of programming, how they just turn some stuff down. And I mean, I even asked Frank Conniff of Mystery Science Theater why some stuff doesn't get picked up. And he's like, usually everyone's in on the same joke. It's just how you got there. And if the joke is too slow, it doesn't matter if you're talking just top of the line, someone who everyone loves, if it's just not quite there, then, they're just not going to say yes and pick it up.
Right.
And it's just wild because you would think that in a world of Netflix where everyone's finding ways to kind of cut corners and, film something for 2 million or under, that everyone needs some kind of content.
Too true. Too true.
So, Ms. Galde, how did you get into Henson's works? Was it just kind of people were showing you just the various videotapes and compilations of their various shows, or just they were on TV a bunch?
I grew up with the Muppet Show in the 90s, like the older episodes. My dad had recorded
Muppets
the even older original ones, from he would put them on VHS tapes, and so I would watch those. I vividly remember watching the Prince episode, and I think one with Charo.
Nice. That sounds right.
Remember?
Yeah.
Y'all remember Charo?
She did her coochie dance in there somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah. Pete,
so I grew up with that.
Totally. So Pete, how did you come to know about him?
Well, I'm a little older than probably most of the folks here. I watched it on TV when it was on, and we had Muppet books. I had toys. I had a Ralph the dog puppet. I had a Kermit the Frog just plush. I had an animal that's eyebrows opened and closed. That was my absolute favorite.
Nice.
But I watched it on TV and I loved it. Of course, I grew up on Sesame Street when that was when I was much younger. Fraggle Rock came around when I was able to see Nickelodeon. We didn't have cable at home, but when I go like my aunt's, she always had cable, and the Fraggle Rock was great. What a great show. So I've followed, not through his entire career, but I would say for a good portion of it. I mean, that was definitely my childhood. That was right in my wheelhouse when the show was on, and went to the theater, saw the movies. So I've got a lot of history with him.
Yeah, I think you've confirmed it, Pete. You're definitely older than the rest of us.
You be quiet. Knock it off.
A little bit.
It's getting rowdy in here. So Max,
still sexier than all of you.
Oh,
sorry.
God.
Sorry about that.
Getting the looks now. Okay, so Max, when did you decide to make this part of your viewing experience?
Dude, my mom is a Muppet fanatic.
Yeah.
And threw me into this very early on. I grew up early 2000s, born 99. So I got this like weird corner of PBS growing up where like during summer staying at my grandmother's house and like the weird like coming home at 2:00 after elementary school, I got this weird corner of when I would turn on PBS, I'd either get like, your Sesame Street always, but I'd catch Fraggle Rock a lot, Bear in the Big Blue House, and dinosaurs quite often.
Oh, dinosaurs!
On
Yes.
Sesame
There
Street.
you
That's just a
go.
great show.
Yes.
It's like that
Forgot
was like
about
my
that,
initial like Henson
Yeah.
introduction. Not quite sure when like just the Muppet stuff, like Kermit, Fozzie, and all them came in. But I
Mhm.
have some of like my earliest memories in life are watching those movies, like in bed, sick with my mom as a toddler. Fell in love with them from a very early age and still hold up with me. Like one of my screenplays I'm currently writing now, I'm referencing the bar scene between Kermit and Rolf in the first film.
Oh,
I adore the Muppets, man. Very early on in my life.
I believe you remind me of the dinosaurs. My gosh.
Dinosaurs.
I'm the baby.
And then
not the mama,
Well, not the baby. That's
Not
what
the-
it is.
not the mama.
the
Not the
son.
mama.
Not the mama. And then the son, Brian Henson, created Farscape, which is just a weird take on the whole Lost in space, Star Trek, formula, but with a few
Yeah.
puppets. And yeah, I'm with you guys. This is pretty much all part of my whole thing. I was always watching Sesame Street and the various specials and movies, and Muppets were
Yeah.
no different. I adore the Muppet movie. The very first one they made. Wasn't as keen on it when Disney took it over, but I mean, I would even watch just a bunch of I think it was like Muppet Fairy Tale Theater was a commonly replayed VHS tape I would watch with cousins. It's just there was no getting around it. Grandparents and uncles love it, so it was just one of those yeah, we're gonna watch Muppet Treasure Island tonight. We're gonna watch this one, and then we're gonna watch this
Oh, it's
other
Tim Curry.
special.
I mean,
Yeah, totally.
I think
lots of excuses to watch that one.
that's probably what it is about the Muppets. It is universally, it's not just that it's family friendly. Like it just any age is really, it's accessible to them. There's something for everybody there.
It's
Yeah, they're
very
throwing enough
wild.
adult humor throughout the show that it's great for kids and adults. I mean, it's
Yeah.
truly a family show where everyone can watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone's going to get something out of it.
So wild, because you would think there'd be something that might not age well if it's been as far back as the 70s, but it's just a rarity. It's like somehow it's as universal as, say,
Couple things.
like Rocky.
Yeah.
where everyone
I think the
said it.
thing that ages is the guests on the original show.
Mhm.
A lot of these kids.
All these kids.
sorry about that. That's not what I meant.
Don't tip your hand, Pete.
Just as actors and actresses age, they go in and out of the zeitgeist, and people don't remember them. Like that first Muppet movie, who's going to remember Richard Pryor making a cameo? Steve Martin.
I definitely remember Steve Martin, but I
Steve
never
Martin, I
has
remember.
stuck
There
with
were
me
so many
my
cameos in
entire
that,
life.
and how many?
Alice Cooper.
Yeah. You referenced Prince. I mean, God
Yeah.
forbid people forget Prince.
and when
And I think it was back when he was the artist formerly known as Prince. I think they
What?
referenced the symbol.
I think
I
so,
think they talk
yeah.
about it in that episode.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was the symbol for that long, huh?
Yeah.
Totally.
he
Wow.
was.
Okay.
And Muppets Take Manhattan was on ABC Family quite a lot. My sister would always try and rent the Muppet Caper from the library, and I think we owned a
Muppet
tape
Caper.
of Muppets from Space. So it's like, yeah, we always saw a bunch of the movies and specials somewhere, every few years. A classic theater, that's the one that I'm thinking of. And I never really messed with any of the direct-to-video stuff. And when they rebooted in
I did.
2011 and 2014, I was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are. This is kind of how I was with the new Star Trek, and I'm like, I'm glad you are keeping this alive so that people who eat up the generic stuff can eventually go back and, eat
Yeah.
up
Have access to it.
the OGs, the original.
Yeah.
So have you guys watched the new stuff on Disney Plus?
I have the
Oh,
one that's kind of like a streaming episode that's hosted
Oh.
by Skeeter.
No,
new-
that's not the one I'm referencing. That's Brand's.
Oh.
making.
That's who?
That's
Oh,
Brand's.
you're talking about the giant, it's like an alien one. It's kind of like a play on Alf or something.
Oh,
I've
no.
never heard of that one. I've watched
No, I don't know.
the one
Yeah,
you
yeah.
talk on, Natalie.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like some sci-fi Muppet show on Disney Plus
Oh.
now.
Shit.
Look it
Okay.
up.
Oh,
Okay.
so
Look it up.
to dig that one up for sure.
I've seen the
No, there was.
That's
They
it.
tried to reboot the
So
not the Muppet
okay,
Show,
okay.
but
So
they tried to
in the
ahead.
90s, there was Muppets Tonight, and then yes, the newest one you're talking about was kind of a more mockumentary. It would air after Modern Family, and
Mhm.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the
That one
adult
was on ABC. Yeah.
It didn't
There's
last.
another one now that Max and I are talking about on Disney Plus.
Mm.
That
Okay, I
it's
finally saw
like Skeeter is the tech dude, and they're doing this constant like popping into videos that Skeeter is uploading in real time,
Okay.
quote unquote. And so Miss Piggy has a segment with Tay Diggs. It's hysterical.
That's great. Is there anyone
Kermit
who
has
hasn't been on a Muppet appearance? It seems like they get picked just about every celebrity and they instantly say yes. It's like, yay, something my kid can watch.
What I'm amazed is like how consistently Tay Diggs has been on each episode. I
Muppets
think,
Now.
like he's
That's the one.
Muppets Now.
That's the one you're talking about. Okay. Yeah,
That's
no,
the one where it's kind of like it came out during
Yes.
quarantine, so it's very like a Zoom based almost.
Yes.
Oh, totally.
That's the
I'm not familiar with this one. Yeah.
Muppets Now.
Voice of Kermit bugged me in that.
Oh yeah, Beaker
Was it
and the other one have a science segment. What was that?
Was it okay? Matt Vogel. Yeah, I guess he just wasn't his usual self because it seems like he's been Kermit for the longest time, or has he? Might have.
He sounded a little bit weird. I'm used to Steve Whitmire at this point still. You know,
Oh,
someone
he
you
was
brought up, I think, Cam, the straight to DVD stuff. I grew up on that too. So like I'd argue I'm used to Steve more than Jim as Kermit. Based off like
Really?
the Swampier stuff. I watched the hell out of that on VHS growing up.
Kermit's
Has
Swamp Time.
anyone
or
else
whatever.
watched that?
I
Yeah,
would keep seeing the ads for it on every Sony release, but I never picked it up.
Oh my gosh, it is insane. It's like prepubescent Kermit, like just giving into like some random activities. There's an
You just reminded me of
alligator.
Muppet Babies.
Oh, Muppet
Oh my
Babies.
I saw
God,
plenty
Muppet
of that back in
Babies.
the day.
I was all up in that
yeah.
show. I grew up with that. I grew up with that. Like that was actually on TV while I was growing up.
They apparently
That was
did a new
Great theme
version.
song.
What's
There
that?
is a new version of it.
There's a new Muppet Babies.
Is
Yeah,
that?
it's on Disney
apparently.
Plus.
Oh,
Can we see the nanny now, or was it still just legs?
I don't know about that. I haven't watched all of it. I think I just in passing saw a couple clips.
Muppet Babies was the best. Oh, I would watch that today.
I might have to go watch Swamp Ears again, man. Just thinking about it. It's Kermit goes on this adventure with these two random friends who are never brought up in anything else Muppet related.
Mhm.
And you know how like there's Doc Hopper is his name from the first Muppet film is constantly after Kermit in the Muppet
I
movie?
think so.
Yeah.
There's a scientist that's after Kermit that wants to like dissect him. And so there's this like it's
terrifying.
horrifying for a Muppet film.
Right.
Like there's this
How
like
do you go
evil
there?
like scientist flashback of this scientist dissecting a Muppet frog.
Have they
all
ever
black and white.
answered any questions about that? About what is a Muppet? I feel like it's come up in some of the shows, some of the movies. Like, are they Muppets? Are they actual
there's a
things that they
joke.
represent? Right?
I think there's a joke in that if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, because they're in a pet shop and there's real pets in the pet shop. And because there's like a mouse Muppet with them at this point too. I think there's also a snake with them, like on this little trip. So I remember there was a comparison at some point, I think, between a real frog and one of the little buddies that Kermit has with him. But there's a blue frog with him specifically. And I think it's a comparison between those two.
Mhm.
But that's the closest I remember is in this straight to video prepubescent Kermit adventure.
Well, to answer your question and to prepare for this episode, I decided to listen to the Who Would Win podcast episode of Sesame Street versus the Muppets, and so I believe it's a fun geekdom versus match, and I loved how one of them, the opposition, was defending Sesame Street, and they're like, yeah, Ernie is basically Tony Soprano, and basically Oscar takes out the trash. No one fucks with Sesame Street. And so I kind of believe that same whole gist is like they were using all the various segments. I'm like, no. See, there's really nothing canon about any of this Muppet universe except basically this is like, yeah, these talking animals exist among humans.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Sully
used to
versus
think
Big
there
Bird.
was.
I want to see it.
Mhm.
I used to think there was
Deathmatch,
like
yeah.
Muppet
Do
canon.
it.
I remember when I watched Muppet Caper for the first time, I was mad because
Oh.
it wasn't like a third follow up to the Muppet movie directly. Like they weren't referencing other ones. My first time watching this, like little 4 or 5-year-old me was pissed watching Muppet.
It is a bizarre kind of one, and yet at the same time I can't blame them for doing that, because it's like, yeah, it's like they were just making fun of all the OnStar kind of Cannonball Run kind of Ocean's 11 kind of movies. Just
Mhm. To me, the canon has always been that they had a show. You know,
yeah.
so then anything that ever deviated from their show origin, right, would always like weird me out a little bit. I'm like, I don't
Kind of like
I'm
Looney
not-
Tunes.
not
It's
with
like,
it.
it exists in some kind of just ongoing. It goes on and on and on until it ends.
Mhm. Yeah.
So does the Muppet Carol wig you out a little bit?
Muppet
You know-
Carol, yeah.
That's a
it's
masterpiece, man. That's a good film.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and
Go
say
for it.
not my favorite.
Oh, all right. Okay.
You know
I
what?
watched it a lot growing up, and then after a while, it was one of those like, I'm kind of sick of all these Christmas specials because it's just the
Yeah.
done, you know,
I'm the
It's a
same
Wonderful
boat.
Life. Take
That's what it comes down to for me. I'm not a Christmas person.
I'm
It
in
was
the
one of
same
those.
boat.
I
Muppet
love their
Christmas Carol's not
segments,
my
but
favorite.
yeah, and just the music goes on a little too long, even though it is fun seeing Michael Caine interact with the guys.
Yes.
Mm.
All the guests are always fantastic. Like all these little cameos that happen on these movies
Oh,
are always
fun.
worth it. Yeah.
Always worth it. Yeah.
Mm.
The last Muppets movie I saw was the one with and there's two, or is it the same one? The one with Tina Fey, the one where one of the Muppets can whistle. The new
In
Muppet.
2014.
That's
was the one in-
2011. She's in it.
That's
Oh,
not-
she, no,
I don't
no,
think I saw that one.
2014. Remember where they?
Is she also in the sequel? I never. That's the only movie I haven't seen. Was Most Wanted.
Yeah, she's playing
It's
a Russian
one that
gal.
has
Yeah,
the one with Jason Segel. I think he wrote it.
He's in 2011. Yeah,
He's in 2011.
I
Okay.
know
I think
she's
he's
one
in
of
the sequel too.
He's not in the sequel. The
He's not in
sequel
the
doesn't
sequel.
even reference the first film other than
Okay,
having
Ricky
Skeeter.
Gervais.
That's
my
why I
bad.
didn't see
But
it.
yeah,
in theaters.
Ricky
Tina Fey's in
Gervais.
it.
That sounds familiar.
See, I was following my Muppet canon. I was like, oh, this one doesn't acknowledge Jason Segel. We got this one.
I mean, that's kind of what the
Well, we kept the new
compromise was
Muppet.
for me. Is like these were just
Mm.
two giant random kind of G-rated entries, and I was just happy that they did the whole 2014, mockumentary show, because that was just a return to the original Muppets
Mhm.
show and Muppets Tonight.
I did
I
appreciate
love-
that show, but they only had like one season, right?
It got canceled. It wasn't even a full season.
They canceled everything that's worth watching.
But it's on
fine.
Disney Plus, I think. So I mean,
Yeah.
Muppets 2011 though, I love that movie. Like I remember we hit it like drunken karaoke a few nights ago. My friend and I did Man or Muppets at the top of our lungs. It was great. 2011, dude, is one of my favorite Muppet movies. I think that was damn good.
Totally checking that out now.
I will
need
send
to
you
see
a file. It's so good.
Do it. Yeah, do it. I gotta see it.
What's the
2011
name of the
full.
new Muppet? What the one that's Jason Segel's little brother?
Scooter? No, that's no. Oh, Walter.
Walter.
He looks like he's a Philly because they're both orange.
When I was watching that movie, I saw that one in theaters, and I remember when he starts whistling, that was his special
Mhm.
skill. I had no idea who was in the casting. That I just immediately recognized that was Andrew Bird whistling. Have you ever heard Andrew Bird?
No.
Apparently not.
Oh man. Well, aside from Walter adopting that whistle as his own, right? Andrew Bird is a musician. He's known for like plucking the violin.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually
Play
really
violin. I remember doing that. Yeah.
yeah. It's pretty interesting skill. But yeah, look up Andrew Bird if you haven't ever heard of him. His little appearance in that movie was like, oh my gosh, Andrew Bird? What? People know about him?
You really recognized him based off the whistle before even the credits.
What's that?
You purely recognized him only off his whistle, not even through the credits.
Only off the whistle. He's the only person that I've heard that can whistle like that.
I love that.
I'm sure
Even
that's why they
remotely
hired
mainstream.
him. We need someone who can sing
Yeah.
unusually. I just think it's bullshit though that Steve Whitmire, like you guys were referencing earlier, played Kermit and he got fired just because Disney didn't like his input. I'm like, he knows it better.
Was it a creative input? Because I heard it was a political thing.
It was more like he didn't like how, like, they were just kind of. It's kind of wild. They acted like he exhibited unacceptable business conduct and he was hostile, and his take was just he took the integrity of the character seriously. It's weird.
I gotcha. They
Politics.
probably just didn't want to deal with it anymore and just had too many head clashes or something.
Mm-hmm. It says here he was given 2 reasons: unwanted notes during the short-lived Muppets reboot on ABC, and a union disagreement.
Oh, unwanted notes. What do you mean?
When a producer comes to the set and they're often, saying you got to make this change, that change. Often, what most people make the mistake of doing is all you got to say is just duly noted, or just, nod your head yes. But most people will be very personal and basically kill the messenger, and that can, shatter.
Gotcha.
I mean, in general, there is a hierarchy, but there is a protocol to how you request changes in scripts, and if you even do that. It says here, first issue was they felt I had been disrespectful in being outspoken on character issues with the small group of top creative people during the ABC series. So if he was just like approaching Village and just being like, hey, I want to talk a bit about this character, that's probably not the time or the place. There's an unprofessionalism to that, but I don't know. It's also super bullshit hierarchy shit. So
you just say no.
That's all egotistical.
They vary you.
Yeah.
Oh man,
he's a great guy. I did meet Steve a few years ago, which was pretty cool.
Oh, at a convention.
It was at a convention. He brings around with him. The first episode he worked on was the Alice Cooper episode of Muppets. And he got to personally create the Alice Cooper Muppet. So he brings that with him at conventions. So it's cool to see there. It's a bit rough looking now because he's traveling with it, obviously. So that's not like it's in a case like some of the Henson exhibits, if you guys have ever been to those.
Nice.
But still cool that he travels with it. He's a great guy.
I didn't know there was an Alice Cooper Muppet.
Mm-hmm. I got a picture with it, actually. That and Steve, it's on my Instagram.
Yeah, because he appeared on the original 70s show back in the day.
Oh my god.
You never remember that?
Actually, that same convention, Alice Cooper was there, and that was the first time they got to see each other since that Muppet Show episode.
Oh, wow. How cool.
So it was cool. They came and they took a photo together with and everything I got to see.
That's
very
cool.
Experience. Definitely an experience.
I don't remember this at all. Oh my gosh. He's like a skeleton.
I'm sure he knows he is one as well.
I was going to say, you're pretty
My
accurate.
dad probably edited him out of my VHS tapes. That's probably what he did.
Oh, dear.
Don't look at this guy.
I got censored.
Censored, man. Every once in a while, we're always clearing out our garage, my family and I, and we're always just like, we're going to probably find just something obscure that got recorded during the 90s. And there's like, I just know there's like that Muppet Family Christmas special is in there somewhere.
With John Denver?
I think so, yeah. And
yeah,
it's kind of bogus because it got an official DVD release, but they cropped out half the songs because they didn't have the music clearance. I'm like, for real?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's probably true.
John Denver's estate.
You gotta pay him.
Man.
Oh. What's this?
Well, that's the holdup. Is the John Denver escape estate is the holdup? That's a shame.
Or something. I think there were other music artists that performed too, so that might have been a conflict of interest. It is wild though, because you kind of don't think about it at first. How because this is like one of the few franchises where they just were distributed through different outlets. Fraggle Rock's on HBO, and then Sesame Street's on PBS, and then Muppets are on, whoever airs them that year, NBC or ABC often. And do you consider Dark Crystal and its, animated follow-up and Labyrinth kind of part of this universe, or is that like Farscape where it's a whole different oyster altogether?
I don't think there's any cross-pollination there, but it's definitely the same company.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Jim Henson. I'm just
Listen, I consider Yoda a Muppet, dude. Screw it, let them all have it.
yeah, I kind of do too.
All right. Can't argue that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think of it as, an umbrella company, kind of like a George Lucas production, if you think about it. They do other things. They branch out into other stories.
Loose colonies, different villages.
Sure.
I did see their recent special Haunted Mansion, and it wasn't bad. It was kind of just very laid back. It was like, I would definitely, out of the new ones, I would rather show kids this one as opposed to some of the recent movies, because this one just had a better cast, and it went by like no tomorrow. It's only 50 minutes. I'm like, really? Okay.
That's the one with Gonzo as the protagonist, right?
Yeah, basically it's a Scooby-Doo type mystery, and
Right. I remember that. That was fun.
Oh, this is a great cast.
Taraji P. Henson and Will Arnett and Yvette Nicole Brown.
Yeah. Danny Trejo.
Yes, making like his third appearance. What won't he be in?
He's so old.
Yeah, he was like in their last movie, and I think and it's just so weird. He's definitely appeared in a few different like Hallmark specials or something that were like produced with Jim Henson Company doing the effects. So I think that's the other thing, is like everyone's utilizing them some way or another. And I think they definitely kept practical. They're like some of the few practical effect companies still out there, because you kind of need it if you're a puppet company.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the fact that these days they CGI out the little sticks that hold up the Muppet arms?
Some of it's very noticeable. I really only had an issue with it in the recent movies, just because the plots were just kind of very restricted to only kids, and like you say, the CGI was just stood out too much, because there's just so many shots where they're walking on the ground and you see full body views, and it's just too much.
Off-putting, right?
And same thing kind of annoyed me about Happy Time Murders, where Brian decided let's do a rated Muppet movie, and I was like, they made it mostly in China, I think, and I was like, yeah, but that's kind of a negative. It's just too much.
I was so disappointed in Happy Time Murders when I realized it was
father.
I thoroughly enjoyed the film, but when I saw the making of for the DVD extras, everything's done on a green screen.
Yeah,
and there were times in that movie where I'm going, wow, how did they do that? And then it's a green screen. I'm like, god damn it.
It was one of those movies where
CG'd everything, and it's the magic is gone.
Yeah,
I think part of that magic has left, and it's awful sad. I really enjoyed there's a level of creativity to get these things filmed by filming around the puppeteers and as they interact with live actors. I find that just as fascinating as the storylines.
I feel like it's enough to CGI out the puppet masters. You don't need to CGI out the sticks.
Yeah, the sticks is weird. Like, it doesn't, it's noticeable sometimes, but doesn't take me out of it. But the full body shots in the newer stuff is definitely weird. I don't know what it is. He's my favorite Muppet. I love him to death. But there's something always so fucking creepy to me about full body Fozzie Bear.
Yeah. Yeah. And they would always animate him very awkwardly to where you're like you say, it kind of takes you out of it a minute, because you're too carefully trying to analyze. It's kind of like when you're trying to see other technical stuff in a movie, and you're trying to see how they creatively hide it and make it work. And it's like you're showing off a little too much when you should just be telling the story.
They don't move naturally enough to justify taking out the sticks.
Yeah,
that's a great point. Yeah, they're a puppet. Just embrace.
You'd rather it be more static if you're just trying too hard to go that extra mile.
or play with the whole trope of it. You know, they're Muppets. They're being manipulated.
When you have like characters on screen, if like Kermit connects compared to like Honeydew, where it's a character where we're using two human hands and clearly that's not attached to the body, it's just the shirt or whatever. That looks weird if you have it compared to a Muppet with no stick arms or anything like that. Or any
There's a few Muppets that are people, like that have people inside of them, right?
Got man in suit. Sully's one of them.
What's the one with the big mouth?
Sweetums?
Sweetums.
Yeah,
that's what I meant. Sweetums. Sorry.
And Big Bird, his bird flu clan. Yeah, it happens where it's just like, I'm just joking, but okay. Yeah, it's like those are like the only full body ones, and like the rest are just like you say halfway through. You know, it's and you see a lot of other knockoff kind of puppet shows kind of following the same suite. I mean, we were talking Mr. Science Theater early. It's like there's definitely going to be a crow doll that is full body versus just upper torso. You know. And but it was just so funny. It's like with Happy Time Murders is like you're seeing them kind of do their same kind of Muppet bloopers that are during mid credits that they would sometimes do, and at the same time it kind of gives away what you were kind of like you say, the off-putting CGI erasing effect. And it is one of those, I do find some amusement in it, but it is kind of like a South Park episode that you can't fully recommend. You're like, it's going to vary by audience. But what's so funny is my sister really hated it, and my father wanted to see it. I'm like, oh, this is so not safe for work. So I'm not sure I can recommend it to you.
Max, I think there were several guys that were in costume, especially in the original TV show. Like there were several dance numbers with humans, with actors. They did a Copacabana one, and there were at least 3 separate monsters that were
People, right?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you their names. Sweetums is the only one that I remember the
You're
name
talking about
of.
the ones from the
the purple ones.
The purple,
There was
and like
a purple guy, and there was a blue guy.
Yeah, I knew you're talking
And
about.
there were a couple of them, and whenever you saw all the monsters together, there were a couple of those dudes in the back because they had to layer everyone.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I couldn't tell you their names.
No. And then, of course, Sesame Street had Snuffleupagus and Big Bird. I can't think anybody else besides those.
Well,
two
Bear
guys.
the Big Blue House was a Muppet, obviously. Dinosaurs were those two.
Yeah, but was Bear
in
on
the
Sesame
Big Blue
Street?
House?
Yeah,
That
Bear in
was
the Big Blue House.
Henson.
I would watch it, but
that
I
was
wasn't
after
really.
me, though.
I wasn't ever really.
I was big
attached
into
to it.
that, dude.
Were you? Yeah.
Big into it.
It was a great show. I saw it a couple of times with my nephew, and it just it was.
I like
way
how you
after
saved
me.
it there. Nephew, not kid. Not with your kid, with your nephew.
Not with my kid.
Oh my god! It was better than Elf. I'll say that.
Sorry.
All good. Did any of you ever watch
yeah.
the Jim Henson Hour?
The Jim Henson Hour?
Basically, he took compilations of just like various things that it was like an update of Muppets Tonight, partially, where it was like their last show they aired before Muppets Tonight, but basically they had an illegal TV station and they just aired various programming.
Oh, interesting.
and they would take stuff from like Fraggle Rock and Muppets and even the Storyteller. And
I'm not even gonna lie. I've never seen Muppets Tonight. I'm looking into it now. This is crazy.
Really?
So that was like, I think, my first of the shows I watched, and obviously I saw plenty of, Muppet, the original Muppet Show on Hallmark reruns, but it just was always on Disney Channel quite a lot, and so they would air reruns till I was about 10. But Earth to Ned is the other one I was thinking of. That was basically an update on their Alf formula, but it's kind of just nutty. It's just very campy and more just very pun heavy. And they get all kinds of celebrities who basically they beam them up into it's kind of a partial Space Ghost clone, I guess you could say. They have just a bunch of characters come on board.
When was that out?
It's on Disney Plus also. Yeah.
Huh.
I saw it at the beginning of the pandemic.
Flew right by me.
Flew right by.
There's so much content out there. It's so hard to keep up.
Totally. And it's kind of wild how wasn't Aliens in the Family kind of a dinosaurs kind of spinoff? I always thought it was, but it was just similar.
I never watched that.
I'm not familiar with that one.
They tried so many different things just back and forth, and it was just kind of cool to just see how they never had any shortage of work. They were always winning a bunch of like categories for like best musical or best animation of the year. But what I really was delighted to find out about a few years back, and I somehow never caught on to this, but it's still a thing, is like Puppet Now Live or something like that. And basically Brian Henson decided, let's do puppets, but in the style of Whose Line Is It Anyway? Let's and they aired it on TBS apparently back in the day, like their best takes, and it was just like they would literally have a puppet, go out into the audience and take a suggestion. And of course, there's a lot of not safe for work language, but it was kind of just fun seeing an R-rated kind of sketch comedy show and I think Brian was also using it for like interns and everything. Like, if you want a chance, like here's a chance to join our shop.
Well, sure, yeah. Let's see how you're
cut out for this. And I think they still do it. Apparently, it's a live show. It's just they tried it out that one time in like 05, 06. But yeah, I'm looking at it now. God, what was it? Puppet Up. Yeah, Uncensored. That's what it was.
Puppet Uncensored.
And you can...
This isn't
Uncensored.
Avenue Q, is it?
I've seen that live.
That show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's so wild how they tried it out, and it took off. It's still kind of a live thing. I don't know if they're still completely doing it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do it at a Vegas show, I know apparently the Creature Shop contributed, so many things, including to that kids movie Buddy, and apparently they got criticized for their unrealistic animatronics, and I never really saw that one. I don't know if anyone else did.
I'm not familiar with that one.
And that was another like 97 like Sony movie, but Jim Henson was just trying to do something else that outside of the Muppet property, and it's like always. So any misses they've had, pretty minuscule, I think. Like, I've never heard anyone talk smack about The Witches, even though that's kind of a freaky movie for kids nowadays. I do forget. I did rent Elmo and Grouchland quite a lot.
I had that as well. That was a constant repeat.
Well, I don't know that one either.
I just remember Tickle Me Elmo when that first came out. And just I remember very vividly that it was just like that Schwarzenegger movie.
Hercules in New York.
No, the one with Sinbad.
Jingle All the Way. There you
Jingle
go.
All the Way.
All the way. Like all these parents just trying to get a freaking Tickle Me Elmo.
That was Tickle Me Elmo was the Cabbage Patch Kids of
it was
my
fantastic, yeah. And they managed to get me one.
Wow.
But it was like I know it wasn't store bought. Like, it didn't come in a package. It was just kind of.
It's a back alley trade.
I think it was a back alley Elmo.
Fell off the truck.
Jesus
That's wild.
I never thought I'd hear that combination.
Scarred for life, having your puppet fall out of the window.
Back alley Elmo.
My niece has that Elmo now. I'm kind of pissed about it. I'm like, hey man, that was my freaking Tickle Elmo. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's great.
Wow.
Made it.
Did anybody the last big Muppet movie I watched, did anybody watch like Fall That Bird, the Big Bird movie?
Yeah, no. Rented it plenty of times. Yeah. From this
so good.
Is it?
It's like from 86. Basically, Ernie and Bert try to catch Big Bird. All the rest.
That sounds familiar.
It's like the missing persons news reporter for the entire movie. And so, like, in the Muppet movie, obviously the Big Bird cameo that's in there. For whatever reason, again, 4-year-old me, same one that's pissed off at Muppet Caper, was so confused. I mean, I was the whole meme from Always Sunny in Philadelphia with Charlie Day spreading out lines, trying to figure out how was Kermit over on Sesame Street reporting this of Big Bird's going to Hollywood. They meet, but they don't know each other. I was trying to make ends meet, man. Way too much about Black canon. And
Yeah.
that
Way to
was
do
a huge contributor, was that movie.
I recently did a full rewatch of all of the Always Sunny Philadelphia episodes, the ones that are still out.
Oh,
anyway.
man.
Like,
That's a lot to
Yeah,
get through.
it took me a while.
13 seasons.
it was
That's
it was
time
like
commitment.
breakfast for me, and it was a weird way to start the day because there's so much yelling. you
Right.
know, but it's like 15 seasons that I knocked out in like 2-3 months.
Wow. Wow.
Jeez.
Commitment. Good for you.
Yeah, it was fun. They have like this accompanying podcast that they're doing now where they're rewatching all of their own episodes and talking about them, except they don't really talk about the episodes at all. So it's an interesting listen.
But they're in character playing these characters.
No, they're
Oh.
just themselves.
Oh,
It's
so they're actually just
yeah.
deep dive into how they created it. That's nice.
Yeah, it's a very behind the scenes kind of deal, but you really just hear them just shooting the shit and just catching up with each other.
I know Jenna, I forget her last name, from The Office, does one of those.
Jenna
as well.
Fisher. Yeah.
Jenna
Yeah,
Fisher
Jenna
from The
Fisher.
Office does one of those as well. I think it's like The Office
That's
Ladies
true.
or something like that.
That's the one. Yeah. Office Ladies.
yeah.
She and Angela Kinsey do host it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the guy who plays Kevin had his own thing, but he just finished up Office Deep Dive, and now he's just going through the world of comedy, having a bunch of comedians he knows get invited on.
Nice.
So, yeah, they contributed to the Ninja Turtles. Does that mean the Ninja Turtles are technically part of this?
Yes.
That's true.
Are you talking about the Ninja Turtles Next Mutation show? Because I have
No, the original.
That was by the Power Rangers guys. I'm talking about the early first three, like,
That
90s.
was,
But
that
that'd
was
be
another
funny.
one that it was right in my wheelhouse, baby. Boy, oh boy.
Power
them Ninja
Rangers,
Turtles.
Muppets. That'd be funny.
I consider the Turtles Muppets. Screw it, dude.
Do it.
I want to see Raphael and Sweetums go at it.
yeah.
But they're people, aren't they?
Who's that?
In the suits, the turtles.
Well,
Yes,
yeah, but
there
the
are people
Sweetums
in
is a
suits.
person
They
in
still had to do the puppeteering for, like, when you're seeing their mouse.
the
talk.
mouth. Yeah.
I guess.
And the eyeballs too. It's a big
yeah.
It's not always it's
thing.
just for the full body shots that you see them in the suits. But I mean, there's
Yeah.
like 3 operators for each turtle, and we just see the voice guy.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Oh God!
Screw it, they're Muppets too. Yeah.
hmm
But I mean, they all
What's
had
the
It
name
was
of
all
the-
remote control. All that facial stuff was all remote control. I
Mm.
don't think there was any puppeteering in there outside of a guy in a suit. It was
still
all.
counts as puppeteering.
I'm kinda
right?
with
I
you,
agree.
Pete.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any puppets and turtles. It was a guy in a suit and these amazing puppeteers doing remote controls and
hmm
blinking eyes and making lips move. Boy, that second one, man, what they were able to do with their speech was incredible. I just
Secret of the Ooze. Oh my God, it's a damn good.
You
movie.
just mentioned Mac's favorite movie right there.
I do. I have an active argument. My friends, they all love to just they love everything Martin Scorsese puts out. I got my own thoughts on him. I love him as a director and all. But like his movies are great, but they're not my favorite movies. You know,
sure.
and so I have this very
That's a
passionate-
fair statement.
I have this very passionate argument. Any day of my life, I'd rather watch Ninja Turtles 2 over Taxi Driver. So I give my friend shit saying it's a better movie.
I'm on your boat there, Max. I don't.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to work.
Taxi
some, I want
Driver
both
is
of you
way too
guys.
heavy for me to watch every day. But boy,
Every
give me some
day
Ooze.
would make me just.
I will watch
dead.
Ooze every day over Taxi Driver every day.
Oh
We're gonna
man!
work some out. I need you guys on Galaxy Film. I like you too.
Yeah.
Let's do it
Secret of the Ooze is great. I have it on vinyl too. The soundtrack,
on vinyl.
Oh,
Nice.
snap.
the new wax we're expressing. Yeah, that's
Very
Oh, the new Waxworks. They do some really good work.
mhm.
Holy moly. They're putting out a bunch of Godzilla stuff.
I
Wow,
saw
Are
that.
they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gorgeous, just beautiful stuff. Oh, man. And it's too expensive for me. I'm not
I will have to check that out.
All I have is the Secret of the Ooze pressing.
Yeah.
Nice.
In 1992, I was in Florida.
I was too.
So I was in the Ohio State University marching band, and we went to this
Of course
the
you were.
Citrus Bowl.
Of course you were.
What does that mean?
I'm just saying. I know you are a very diverse.
I'm
dude, so,
I'm setting up a story here.
I know.
Fuck off.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You could tell me you could have been a circus acrobat, and I would believe it, Pete.
Oh,
Like,
that
you
might
are
be
so
fun.
full of surprises. So that's awesome.
So
Go ahead. I'll let you finish your story.
right. Well, so
finish.
let me finish, man. So I'm an idiot freshman in college thinking we're going to Florida over Christmas break,
Mhm.
and we're gonna pack shorts and t-shirts, right?
Yes, do it.
This is relevant to the story, to the whole conversation here.
Okay.
So we get to Orlando, and the first day or two is beautiful, and we're like, hey, this is great. Third day in, we are doing a parade at Disney, but before we do the parade, we're allowed in the park for like 35 minutes or whatever. No, it was a couple hours. But Florida in December is not as warm as you might think it is.
I've been to Disney before in December.
And it rained that day while we were at the park, which made it colder. So it was about 40. And
That sounds like Florida, yeah.
Yeah. I was there in sandals and shorts and t-shirt, running around the park because my uniform and everything was on the bus, and I didn't think I needed anything but a t-shirt and shorts. So the row mates and I are running from place to place to place to get some shelter. So we're doing all these indoor roller coasters, which are those hydraulic things or these theater things, whatever. This is again 92. It's been a while. So we did go into we went to the Star Wars one, which was very cool. But we also got to go to the Muppet one. And it was a
Star
3D
Tours.
adventure.
That would be the one.
Star Tours was there.
Star Tours, yeah.
But then whatever the Muppet one, it was like the Muppet Experience or something like that.
That's still there, yeah.
Muppet Experience.
Is it still there? It was at not Epcot, is the other one.
Hollywood Studios.
MGM.
I went to it a couple years ago, yeah.
MGM. So it's a big theater. You sit there, and it was the first time I had experienced polarized lenses. So I've only experienced the red and the blue for 3D, but this was here's some glasses. They're not powered; they were just polarized. You sat there in the theater, and it blew my fucking mind. I couldn't believe how good the 3D was, and they would these Muppets would point right at you, and that's just how the 3D worked. And we all kind of went, whoa, like what was it, the Great Train back in 1910 or whatever, where people screamed that their train was running at them. We all kind of, the whole theater kind of went, whoa, as they're pointing at you and throwing stuff at you, because nothing was distorted by that red and blue. I saw Jaws 3D in the theater with the red and blue glasses. It sucked, but this was really, really cool.
Yes,
because it was shaded a little bit and everything, nothing was distorted. Oh boy, it was really cool. It's one of my favorite memories of, outside of freezing my ass off. We got in there and we warmed up, and that was a really fun experience. So the old man's done telling his stories.
I was trying to remember where I was in 1992, but that's the same year that Hurricane Andrew hit.
True.
So, but you're talking about Christmas time, so this would have been
after Christmas, before New Year's. So the Citrus Bowl was on New Year's Day, and we were there for the week after Christmas, like a day or two after Christmas. It's cold, ladies and gentlemen. Florida is cold.
Ladies and gents.
Just public service announcement. Please pack accordingly.
Probably the coldest it gets down there is like maybe the lower 40s in the mornings, something like that.
Oh, but it was raining, and it was not pleasant.
Yeah, the rain probably doesn't help yet. And what I love about the rain in Florida is it starts and then it stops. You can actually just walk right through it.
Yeah, I've heard that. This was not that. This was a constant drizzle all day long. It was miserable.
Who will stop the rain?
That happens too. That does happen.
Here comes the rain again.
Stupid Orlando.
Yeah.
I have this one other weird Muppet memory. It very well might be like my oldest. What's up?
in person.
Well, kind of, dude. It's weird.
Oh,
Okay.
It's
Muppets
it's like
Haunted
my
Extreme.
oldest memory. So like I don't know where the hell this was whatsoever. I just have like these weird fever dreams of it. Like I'll mention it to my mom, and she doesn't remember where it is, but she will talk about the thing there. We were at like this, like maybe it was a mall, like a strip mall or whatever. But outside of this store, there was this massive, and I mean it had to be like 15, 20 feet tall. And it was Kermit coming out of a Jack in a Box. And he would just like stick his head up. It was the weirdest shit. In like 10 minutes, Kermit's head would come out. And he'd go away for like 5 minutes, come back up again in 10. It
I'm
was
disappointed
weird.
if this doesn't actually exist.
It was the weirdest. I'm going to pull a picture up and find it somewhere. I'm telling you, my mom.
was it like an advertisement? Was it one of those
I was,
advertisements in front of a store or something, or was it?
maybe. I was like 3 years old, dude.
Oh wow!
This was like my
Probably a-
earliest memory. I just
it's
remember
probably
that
a
thing like
knockoff.
scaring the
Someone-
hell out of me.
I bet it did. At 3
Because-
years old.
You remember the end of the Muppet movie when Animal turns like really big?
Yeah,
That's what it reminded me of as a kid. Is that scene exactly? Just seeing Kermit's face peek over the edge of the box reminded me exactly of Animal rising out of the roof.
Wow.
I don't remember this. I
It
don't know
may
anything
or
about
may
this.
not have happened, but I just
Yeah.
love how the whole
My mom
PBS.
right
you may have had a
people
fever
love-
that day.
It may be an
There you
actual
go.
fever dream.
I just
Quite
don't you
literally.
find it funny though how like this was just like second nature though, like anything on PBS basically had to be a puppet show from that point on, like whether it's something as dorky as Dudley the Dragon or something very educational like Zaboomafoo. It was like,
Yeah, I was into that too.
yeah, so there you go. It's like just playing Sesame Street, you know, first part of the day. It's about what else would you rather a kid be watching when they come home from school?
Very few things outside of Sesame Street. That's pretty
Yeah.
safe.
Saturday morning cartoons. You had Bobby's World. That was a fun one.
Bobby's.
You guys remember Bobby's World? No.
Oh yeah, Howie Mandel. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Louis
yeah.
Anderson.
Oh wow.
Say again?
Louis Anderson was a voice on that too.
Mhm.
Was he?
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
Then you had X-Men, Spider-Man. I think that was part of Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
I remember.
Plenty of other Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network stuff.
Oh, okay, gang. If we want to do a Saturday morning recap, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
that would be-
start the day on set.
That would be a hoot. Oh man.
That's a fun one.
As a kid from like 86 to 91 or so, boy oh boy, that was my thing. That was my jam.
Yeah. But around that time, I think it's Transformers,
Yep.
Thundercats.
Those were weekday though.
Those are weekday.
Yeah, they were.
What was on Saturdays?
Not and during the 90s is a different thing.
Gummy bears. Oh yeah,
Gummy bears.
Let's
True.
hold that. Let's hold off on that conversation.
Okay.
Oh God.
Cam's like, damn it! I already had this scheduled for.
No, it's all good. We did a great Transformers get together where we were just like talking everything like Transformers related. Let's talk about it, and we just made all sorts of jokes. It's like, why do crooked federal agents want to work with these Decepticons when they're gonna all try and kill each other anyway? You know, it's just a parallel to today's money laundering and oil crisis. What is it represent? And we made plenty of other jokes about and talked a bunch about the toys and everything, how they seem to evolve, some of them, and how it inspired knockoffs like Mega Bloks, and Zoids, GoBots, and yeah,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
it was like,
Well,
Transformers was a knockoff.
that's true.
yep,
I mean, they came straight from Japan.
animated by the same guys did Gundam. So
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. So we know Max's favorite Muppet. What's everybody else's favorite Muppet?
Oh boy.
We know Max likes Fozzie.
I know my least
I'm
favorite
trying to hunt
Muppet
this statue.
is my least favorite Muppet is Ashanti in the Great Muppet Oz Caper or whatever the hell it was.
That one.
That doesn't
Okay.
count. In 2005, they had one.
I
that
don't
had
know
turds,
what
you
that
know?
is.
You never seen
Everybody, I have an
Okay.
update from my mom. I figured out what the
about the
Kermit is.
frog thing.
Oh,
She says it was in Kansas City at FAO Schwartz toy store outside of a mall. And she said I was maybe 2 years old and I threw a fit and had to be outside of a Kermit instead of the mall. For the entire day.
Are you for real?
Yes.
that's
She
amazing.
says she has
Well
a
done,
picture
Max.
of me with Kermit somewhere being
Oh,
amazed
wow.
by it.
Oh, she's
So,
got to look that up. That's not
FAO
on the
Schwartz.
phone. That's in a book somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in an album.
An album. That's the word. That's the word. Thank you.
What is this, early 2000s? We were still doing albums then. We're just
I
about,
would think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah. I keep thinking about that. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to keep track of baby pictures moving forward. Like I don't do albums. I've tried so hard to go back and make one, and it's just not, doesn't feel like a natural instinct anymore.
Wow. That
All right,
is
but
wild.
favorite Muppets. Go.
Favorite
Go.
Muppets.
What do you got?
Oh, man. The one not voiced by the creep who played Elmo. I'm just kidding, but no, seriously.
He turned out to be a creep, didn't he?
It'd probably be Bert. I don't know. Come here. Fine. We got to split this. We got to do Sesame Street and then we got to do Muppets. Because I can't just pick
Okay.
one.
Yes.
Oh, Sesame Street's 100% Big Bird for me then.
For me, it's Grouch.
Bird movie.
Grouch.
It's either
I-
Oscar or Ernie. Yeah, this is one of those.
Yeah.
If it's Sesame Street, it's the guy that can make any noise out of his mouth. He was blue and he was bald.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember his name.
Are you talking Grover?
Wait, are you talking Sesame Street or
Ozzy?
Muppets?
He's talking
Sesame Street.
Oh, okay, because we have the
It would
blue
have to be
eagle guy.
No,
Yeah.
not the blue. He could make a
Muppets.
noise. He would open his mouth and a car horn would sound.
I think it's Fozzie.
Or
Or
I
not
think I know
Fozzie.
who you're talking about.
Oh, Harry Monster. I think it's.
Yeah, I think it is Harry Monster. There's a pop figure of him actually. because of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, because he would do all kinds of things with his mouth, so that have to be.
oh, no.
I think with Muppets,
I
it's
don't mean
harder
it that way.
to nail down a favorite.
Oh God, Pete, you gotta pick.
Like there's
just
just so many. There's so many good ones.
one. So many good ones,
that-
but
They all have their thing. Like I love Statler and Waldorf.
Oh,
yes.
They're just
Yeah.
great, you know. But then
Anytime someone's
Anytime
being a
what?
critic on a film forum, you basically gotta take them out and say,
so
"All
good,
right,
it's so good.
here's the real."
And then you've
critic."
got Pepe, the
shrimp?
Shrimp,
Is he
yeah.
a shrimp?
Yeah,
The prawn.
Pepe
I was
the
watching
Prawn.
Muppets
Yeah,
from
Pepe the
Space
Prawn.
today. Actually, I was thinking about how great and underused he is now.
Pepe's
Is he
fantastic.
underused now? Boy, he was.
Was he even in 2011?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah, he's
He
in there.
was, but
Is he?
not,
I thought
Okay.
he took over for Rizzo for a while.
He kinda
He and
did.
Oh, Rizzo,
Gonzo.
that's another good
Oh,
one.
I'm thinking about Rizzo. Yeah, Rizzo's the one we don't see often anymore.
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah,
Who knows?
Pepe. I've definitely the first I saw him was on Muppets Tonight, followed by Muppets from Space. So that makes sense.
Hmm.
Mhm. And then you've got Beaker. I mean, come on.
Oh my gosh.
Me. Like he's just fantastic. And you got
Hmm.
Swedish Chef. He's
I-
ridiculous.
Damn it. That was going to be my pick.
That was yours?
Yeah, I love the Swedish Chef because of the nonsense. It's
He's
just
so insane.
you were
You should-
scared the chocolate mousse. And we're scared the chocolate.
He's got his own segment on Muppets
The
now.
mousse.
His own
Yeah,
baking
but-
segment.
He deserves it.
He does.
Oh,
And
for
it's always
sure.
like a competition series between him and someone who can actually cook. And it's
Oh.
mwah, chef's kiss. It's really
Mwah.
great.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. Thank you so
Ah,
much.
well done.
Mwah, mwah. Isn't it wild though
Swedish
how
Chef versus Iron Chef.
oh,
That's a show I wanna
Oh, okay.
that would be
I'm into that.
interesting. I'd watch it. Isn't it wild though how so many of these specials for the longest time, some of them are still only on VHS, and others
Yeah.
are
Oh,
like
wow.
Like the Jugman? Remember that?
The
Oh,
Jug
the-
Man.
that.
Jugman.
Even
Mhm.
Willoughby's Christmas tree special they did with Leslie Nielsen and Stockard Channing. But yeah, Muppet fairy tales or whatever. Yeah, that's still only on VHS. They should totally do a transfer to Amazon or Disney Plus, something.
Amazon. I think Disney owns that shit now.
I know, but they still got the license. Classic Theater, that's the one I'm thinking of. I don't know why they wouldn't release that one. That one I watched endless. It was just so much fun just seeing them adapt like 6 different fairy tales. And
I think my favorite Muppet segment is everyone knows this one. It's the Phenomena.
Yo, that's my mom's
yes.
Yeah. What do you mean no one knows this one?
No, I'm saying everyone knows this one.
Everyone knows
has
that one.
this.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. Like, you can't not know it.
I don't know it. What is that from?
There was a petition in Chicago like 5 years back where people we have a street called Menominee Street.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh no.
Somebody petitioned to have the bus stop changed to
Phenomena
to actually be that entire song instead of just Menominee Street, but it didn't pass.
They should have
Chicago
passed
doesn't
it.
have a sense of humor.
Because people are stupid.
But it was pretty clever. I was into it.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I really got my mom over here digging through photo albums for this picture.
There you go.
If we don't get a post from you, Max, it's going to be a sad day.
Yeah, I think I pissed her off with this because now she's on a mission.
We're on a mission to find out what haunted me.
Either that or she's crying at your baby pictures, one or the other.
Aww.
Regardless, you've kind of ruined her day.
You've done her a favor.
pissed
She's
off
walking
'cause
down memory lane.
She's like even more pissed off. She's like, "Why do you want to know this?" I was like, "I guess they're on a Muppet podcast." She's like, "Send this new one zip." Even more pissed listening to this part.
You're right. Don't get me wrong. My theme song has viewer discretion advice, so I don't want anyone saying, "Oh, why did you put an explicit rating on the episode?"
Fuck it!
You should know our podcast by now. Here's what's a bizarre thing. You're talking about Rizzo. Did you know that Steve Whitmire said the inspiration for him was Justin Hoffman's character in Midnight Cowboy?
Oh,
No.
I'm trying to find parallels, and I mean,
Which character in Midnight Cowboy?
Justin Hoffman's character. I mean, last I checked, Rizzo does not sell his body.
No, I see it. He had that Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
Accent sort of thing.
I'm about to say, because
moxie.
the time Muppets have sex on screen is, it's not happening anytime soon.
No. I don't think he had sex on screen. I think he was I think he had some issues. No, I'm pretty sure he had a lot of issues.
I mean, I can see Gonzo and Rizzo being a couple if you want to go there.
No, that's not what I meant. That is not what I meant.
Damn it. Well, since we're R-rated already, how much angry sex do you think Ernie and Bert have?
Oh, God.
Angry sex?
Yeah.
I feel like that would be daily at least.
Ernie.
Just on Bert's end, right?
that's why I'm laughing. That's terrible. Yeah. Justify
We
that
may have
one.
jumped the shark here. My goodness, I wasn't prepared for this conversation.
Sorry, I just dived right in there.
Yeah.
Everyone thought it.
Don't hesitate.
No one hesitate.
Pull that Band-Aid right off, man.
What other Muppets might date each other though, instead of just Bert and Ernie?
Oh, Elmo and Zoe are definitely a thing. Boyfriend, girlfriend.
Okay, but that
Always-
seemed more like established, right? Like
That's like a
That
Kermit and Piggy. Yeah, I agree.
if you were to ship Muppets,
oh, totally.
who would you ship?
Oh, boy.
Snuffy and Big Bird are definitely, unofficial.
Big Bird's the only one that can
brothers
reach him.
Oh, thank you for that image. I just meant that they just seem to be just kind of brothers from other mothers.
There's
kinda
a size differential there from a lot of these Muppets. I think Sam the Eagle has some really awful skeletons in him.
He and
also.
Oscar
That dude.
are definitely serial killers. They hate everybody.
I don't know how sexually deviant Sam the Eagle is, but boy, oh boy,
I think he's an incel.
that closet is full.
I'd be pleasantly surprised if he was just adept in romance and nothing more. Like
he's a sociopath. He hates everybody.
It's true. He does hate everybody.
You are all
Scooters are
morons. Oh, Scooter. Oh.
Scooter.
And Robin are having a fling here and there.
Dude, if the Muppets like the Muppet Show took off in 2015, I think it was the ABC
From the
one.
creators of South Park.
Yeah, if we had gotten multiple seasons, I would have loved to see if Piggy had an affair with Scooter.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it's
worked.
Kermit's assistant that he takes for granted nonstop throughout all of the the shows and the movies and whatnot. That'd be a cool dynamic they could have done.
Totally.
Their relationship makes no sense, Kermit and Miss Piggy.
Oh.
I love that they trash it in that.
I think it's a play on the Odd
version.
Couple or some bullshit, just having two unlike people do the unthinkable, and they're making fun of just all these people. I mean, you kind of always got the sense that they're unhappily, involved, boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're just doing a play on that. It's like, why do you guys put up with each other's shit? So
Right.
Right.
You have so many other Muppets around you, that clearly want to give you attention and affection. like Wolf.
And way freakier than Miss Piggy.
No, yeah. I mean, you never know what could happen if Kermit actually just had a deviant mind all of a sudden. Just
It's true.
This is not all this podcast will go to.
So
yeah, we pretty much have crossed the X-rated line.
how adept is Gonzo with that nose of his?
Okay, I'm glad you were thinking it too, man. Okay. I know Gonzo's doing some freak shit. I didn't want to be.
We got there. Well, Gonzo's got this whole thing with his chickens.
Well,
I know,
why,
man.
That's why he wants to be an actor. He's been brown nosing all this time.
There are
fame and fortune,
layers
baby.
on Gonzo.
Yep.
Excellent use of brown nose.
I'm telling you, he's that ego. I'm the best acrobat that ever lived. And
God.
I bet
Animal, you just know that Animal is performed with just so many, rock and roll groupies. So he definitely got some action on the side.
Animals getting head all the time, for sure.
Animal's a slut.
Yeah, all the time.
I don't want to even guess how the whole human versus Muppet interaction works. Don't ask me. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you gotta.
Animal doesn't care.
I just remembered a Geico commercial with Animal.
You do.
Yes.
I remember several
He's
Geico
in the
commercials,
attic.
all of them.
Yeah.
All of them have been in the something eventually. Yeah, it's just, Jesus.
Animal's
I guess they're
probably
part
the
of
best
the
one.
Geico
I wouldn't
universe.
say Animal's my favorite, but he's the best. He's one of the best Muppets.
I had an animal stuffed animal.
I did too.
And it was cool because he had a plastic chain around his neck.
Yeah.
He had the same one.
When I was 11 or 12, and I was like, I'm too cool for them. I had an animal dangling from my ceiling.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yes.
I think
Oh
I
my
had that
God.
exact same Animal Muppet. That was so good.
Mhm.
Well, if we're bringing up all these other Muppets, I mean, I lost track of how many rude jokes I said in the voice of Yoda.
Yeah, dude. I couldn't tell. I got a Yoda hand. You can't even see on my camera. I got a Yoda
Paws
hand.
up my ass it is.
Yeah, man.
Puppeteer. Not thinking, is he? Say not to
Yeah, I
you.
can't wait for when Grogu finally talks. I can make those Muppet jokes.
Statler and Waldorf living with each other?
I was thinking the same
Are
thing,
Statler and
but I didn't want to
Waldorf
say
living
it because I felt we had gotten
Are they-
closely enough.
Are they
They're
at the
definitely
retirement
the-
home with each other?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're definitely the
I think so.
overly.
Yeah.
They're the World War II buddies who couldn't stand women and couldn't stand anyone else, so they got a retirement home and lived together happily the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty sure that what's that show with John Mulaney and Nick Kroll where they're these two old dudes?
Oh, I saw that special.
I feel like they were a source of inspiration for that show.
They totally were. Them, I mean, there's definitely a bunch of. That's a good thing because it seems like, obviously the original Muppet Show was kind of going on a lot of the various variety shows and Saturday Night Live, but I mean, even the overall humor, I think, like you say, is definitely influenced from everything, whether it's subtle Lenny Bruce to Groucho Marx,
Lenny
to-
Bruce, yeah.
and obviously the ones that do all the most dim-witted stuff. How can you not make parallels to Buster Keaton and the Three Stooges? Just
It's so true.
Mhm.
amount of physical gags and it's like the only thing with physical confrontation that I think my mom would let me watch growing up. Is just like everything else was just too much sword play and just too imitable.
Oh, did you say
That's
sword
funny.
play?
I wasn't allowed to watch Barney.
Oh my God!
you know?
Stop. Oh wait, so they didn't allow you to watch this?
It was I grew up in a Baptist evangelical house. I don't recommend it. And the belief was that, you know, dinosaurs weren't real or something like that.
Oh my
Oh.
So there's there was this conflict of, you know, thought with a Muppet puppet dinosaur.
How dare they teach you
hanging
about
out
how
with
the
little
Earth?
kids.
We think it's flat.
I don't know how they felt about it, about Earth, but for sure they didn't think dinosaurs.
The Earth is round. Here.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. I can't not get for that. Whenever someone's running around, we almost always have some near far that or God. I've lost track of anything else. It's like we'll probably get a Jack Bauer line from 24. Like we're running out of time when we're waiting on something to download. But then we'll also like if someone is coming to the door like to sell us or ask us to join their church, we almost always simultaneously will say salesman from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
There's another episode, Cam. Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah.
Oh, Pee-wee's. I was thinking of hey, you guys!
And I know that
Goonies.
without
what is
trouble.
it? Electric Light Company, I think is what it was.
I think so.
Electric Company.
Light Orchestra.
Electric Company.
Oh, yeah, the electric company. Yes. I want to take a bath. Yeah.
Wow.
Years before his South Park appearance, and that wasn't even him.
Oh, snap.
Oh, Morgan Freeman. That dude's
Nice nostalgia. I'm into this.
Once you open it, it's a barrel full of monkeys and Pandora's box every fucking episode. Yeah, just any final closing thoughts before I let you guys plug your shows? Like, what would be the first installment that you would introduce this coming millennials and ignorant generation on?
Oh, that's a good question.
Certainly not
Muppets?
the Muppet Caper.
Yeah, on Muppets. Yeah. It's like, are you going to just show them any Sesame Street skit that's classic, like Here Fishy Fishy, or are you going to do one of the movies, or are you going to do a special? I think I would show them one of the Christmas specials, definitely the 80s one with John Denver, and then probably show either the original Muppet movie or Muppets from Space.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I would
pretty
start with
solid.
Muppets in Space.
Totally.
As one of the sketches that they used to do, Muppets in Space.
Don't get me
And,
wrong. I mean, the Fairy Tale Theater and Treasure Island are great, but I saw this so much that
I'd say the first movie for sure, obviously, is a go-to, but
Totally. All right.
Muppets Take Manhattan is a damn good follow-up. So I think a double feature.
Okay. Perfect.
If I could get a hold of all the music from the Christmas special with John Denver, I think that's a slam dunk.
Totally. Get
Just
a
because it's
bootleg DVD.
Christmas music, and you kind of introduce all the Muppets, and you're good to go. And
I
once
even
you've
had the CD
established
for the longest time.
characters- Oh, I still have the CD.
Oh, wonderful.
It's something we play frequently.
It is so funny. Halfway through, I wouldn't
during Christmas,
realize
there's-
that's who was singing. I'm like, because it was like a Christmas album mixed with a bunch of other Christmas songs. Is that just?
Oh,
Okay.
If that recorded, leave it in.
that was fantastic.
It was.
was
This is a great mix.
For a second, I was kind of worried that something was going on
Mhm.
with Cam.
My only
I'm hearing voices.
right. My only trepidation with showing that original film, even though it's clearly the best, is that I don't know if the cameos will land.
Right.
And is that necessary?
I mean, I didn't know everyone growing up and those.
Yeah.
I just love the musical
Okay.
numbers. I love the whole kind of. It's kind of like their Wizard
the
of
music is
Oz.
amazing.
Yeah, dude. I got this. I play the CD. Going to work every week, dude.
All right, then the
Did he really?
Yeah.
Nice.
the John Denver Christmas
Okay.
special and the original film.
Yeah, I play the
Perfect.
vinyl soundtrack on a weekly basis, very often. My house. It is
Can you
on my
picture
way to
that?
work. On my way to this work this morning, I was playing the 2011 soundtrack. Actually, dude, music's always good with Muppets. Always good.
Yep.
It's true.
Totally.
Yeah, I would say that the cameos were never something that I really paid attention to when I was a kid. Like I
Is that
could
maybe
care less.
Cherry on top of the sundae, maybe.
No, like I
even for the
genuinely,
adults?
when I started watching these shows, I had no idea who these people were.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Right.
and then it was only as I got older, I was like, oh shit, wait, oh my God, they were on the Muppets. Okay, cool. And then I'd go back and I'd watch them again. But I didn't know. They were superfluous to me. I cared more about the Muppets.
Okay,
And yeah,
I like
I
that.
don't know. I hope that's true for a lot of kids because that makes them timeless, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. It does make it. It's
Well
a
said.
lot of rewatchability too.
Mhm.
The only cameo that like really like added to me or like the viewing experience for me was that Star Wars episode, obviously from Muppet Show from Mark Hamill. I mean,
Mhm.
that's great.
Right.
But the Steve Martin cameo in the Muppet movie, like one of the other comedies I grew up watching was The Three Amigos.
Oh, Three
So,
Amigos
like,
is solid. Yeah.
Again, made no sense now, but 4-year-old me against trying to tie that wire to Three Amigos and Muppets for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved that cameo. That's the only one that ever like added value to it, though. That was a cherry on top.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing else to add. I was always more of a Muppets Tonight fan. Like that was always my original love. The movies, they're cool and everything, but like I don't know. I like all these little sketches that they did, and it was. I think that was probably my first introduction to theater, which is probably why I'm so involved in it now.
That's so true. Because I mean, much like
Yeah.
Star Wars, you got various actors playing multiple different roles, sometimes in makeup and what have you.
Right. Yeah, I always loved the backstage stuff too, all the backstage drama going on. And it's Scooter. I was calling him Skeeter earlier. Scooter. Scooter, the stage manager.
Right. And
Always dealing with
like you
that stuff.
say, that's so true. It kind of indirectly teaches you about responsibility, how everyone has a job title.
Sure. Yeah.
He's the
Yeah, I guess
assistant.
has some
He's the
educational value to
AD.
it.
Yeah, he's the associate producer. Gonzo's the freak of
Mhm.
nature who everyone kind of wants to work with, but doesn't want to really know personally because he's just too weird. And then
I know.
Rizzo has his army of rats, and they're got a special set of
Mhm.
skills. And yeah, and Kermit is basically the charismatic leading man who thinks he's deeper, and everyone just kind of knows him. Goes, hey, it's a frog. Go do
True.
some magic tricks for us. And Miss Piggy is basically the Julia Roberts, Catherine Hepburn time.
Right. The diva. Yeah. And you have and Fozzie who just wants to get his jokes on air.
Oh yeah, Fozzie is basically the Louis Anderson
He's so pure.
crude comic. Oh man,
Oh,
there were some great gags on that. That's now shit. When this is over, I got to rewatch that mockumentary Muppet show that they did, because there were some great cameos, especially the Mindy Kaling one where she's coming all in and she thinks she's more entertaining than she actually is, and they can't stand her, so they just put her in a different sketch.
Classic.
There were some other guests on there too. I lost track. I know Muppets Tonight had George Takei singing on a boat in one segment or some bullshit.
What?
Yeah.
And
Had Liza Minnelli.
Liza Minnelli on the original Muppet
Harry
show. They even
Belafonte.
had Belafonte. Who can forget the time that Kermit bit Vincent Price on the neck, vampire style?
Vincent Price. That's right. Shit, Vincent Price.
Pigs in space.
Is he dead? I'm not sure that
Oh,
Vincent
he's
Price
long
is dead.
dead. He's long
Okay,
dead.
just making sure.
Just making sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Honestly, like, I don't remember hearing about him dying.
You never know, man. You never know. I mean, if you don't see a body,
Good
anything
question.
is possible.
It's true.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't personally. I don't have anything else to add from the Muppets. That pretty much covers all my fever
that did.
dreams.
God
Yeah.
damn it, Max! I need something more from you. No, just kidding.
I know
That's
my mom's
awesome.
pissed. She quit texting me back because I know she's deep diving.
Oh man, you gotta send that. That's got to be the cover for the episode.
Family's life tonight. Oh man, it's been great having you all on here. First two timers, and yes, definitely be on Max's show. So Nathalie, what would you like to promote?
Sure. I don't have anything digital going on right now, but I work with a theater called Teatro Vista. It's one of the oldest Latinx theaters in Chicago. So we have a cool little podcast audio story that's out there called The Fifth World. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple.
The Fifth World. Okay.
I'm wording it wrong. I'm forgetting what you called. It's an audio drama. It's really great.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
It's about 6 episodes. They're very palatable, very short, very intense, very cool. And then I'm also an improviser, so I do shows at the Annoyance Theater in Chicago.
The Annoyance.
Yeah, I do a show called Fire and Beer on Saturdays. If there's fire, you head out to the left. If you want a beer, you head out to the right. That's the show.
So I always go to the right.
That's right. No, that's left.
Now I'm confused.
Same. I mixed up my stage directions.
You're fired. Go left. Oh, so Max, what does Galaxy of Film have coming up? If I haven't already asked
man,
the question.
we've got a ton of stuff coming on, man. Thank you for having me on yet again. It's been a blast. I know I said this last time we talked about Ice-T movies. This is again something I've wanted to talk about for forever on Galaxy of Film, so it's nice to get a chance to talk about it. We've got some short films coming up on our YouTube channel at Galaxy of Film. Stay tuned. We got some good content coming up for Star Wars Celebration on the podcast. We got a TikTok now too. We're doing some stuff on there at Galaxy of Film.
A voter
we got
for
a ton of
Star
stuff
Wars
coming,
he
man.
has.
We have a ton of stuff coming this year. It's going to be quite insane. I think we're going to try doing a film every month for the rest of the year, starting in June. So just depends. We got some good stuff coming.
Sweet.
Wonderful. I guess I'm last. I have a monthly podcast called Good Beer, Bad Movie Night. We cover bad movies and we drink very good beer. Thusly, the title of our podcast. It's pretty straightforward. We've got some. We're up against our right. Our 5th year anniversary is coming up in June, so we're going to have a special show for that. That's what it is. It's what we do. Come out and see our show. I don't know what else to say.
See it now, you must.
I can't sell it any more than that. Beer and bad movies. It's marvelous.
Beer and bad movies. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Cam. I had a lot of fun.
1,000%. Okay.
Same thing, Cam. This was good. Let's do this again.
Yeah,
this was awesome.
Well, we'll get back at a topic with you guys and get this out hollering by summer.
We'll return after these messages.
Hey, feeling down? Feeling low? Not enough podcasts about movies in your life? Why not try
They must be destroyed on sight.
the new Podcast Cure-All? Sure to get you right with the world and on a path to better living. We have exploitation, we have Italian horror, we have zombies, we have slashers, we have crime films, we have spaghetti westerns, we even have sci-fi and sex comedies. So take a dose of
They must be destroyed on sight.
as needed, and let the hosts, Lee Russell, Daniel Harper, Paul Romali, and the odd guest host cure what ails you.
Warning, may cause atrophy, African consumption, black fever, bone shave, chin cough, colic, cramp colic, dropsy of the brain, elephantitis, grocer's itch, jaundice, mania, miasma, mortification, palsy, Pott's disease, rheumatism, scurvy, St. Anthony's fire, summer complaint, and worm fit in some people. Consult a physician before listening.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
doll popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was going to be a rough
How could you watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Hey everybody, I'm Corey.
And I'm Zach, and we're the hosts of Podcasting After Dark, a cast dedicated to late-night horror and sci-fi of the 80s and 90s, often found on HBO and Cinemax.
You know, the movies your parents didn't want you watching as a kid. You can find us every other week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and Stitcher.
This is what you want.
This is what you get.
Greetings, friends. My name is Dean Legero, and I'm the host of the 3324 podcast. I invite you to join me and my lifelong friend Eric Kuber to come with us as we discuss the music and movies that shaped our life. Each week, we'll pick an album or film that we really connect to, and not only give you some great info and trivia, but also discuss, debate, and celebrate what it means to us and the journey it took us on. We also look forward to hearing from you and giving us some of your picks for us to check out and discuss. I think it'll be a really fun experience, so come along with us for the ride. You can find us on your favorite podcast provider and at 3324.buzzsprout.com. Thanks for your time, and welcome to the 3324 family.
It's time, let's check our queue, baby. Pair it with a couple brews, baby. We love good movies. We love the bad ones too. So we watch them all and pass their lessons on to you. Oh yeah. Everything I learned from movies helps to make life a little bit groovy. Whether one last plot holes or gratuitous movies, it's time to get busy with your friend Steve and Izzy. At eilfm.podbean.com.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up